The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. China cries shame on the U.S. for hoarding the AstraZeneca vaccine. The Chinese embassy official hitting out of the U.S. for failing to provide doses to the Bahamas and other countries. Concerns about an increase in ICU and hospitalizations as a result of the third wave of COVID. But the Prime Minister stands by travel protocols. Plus, in Morning Blend Business, we are talking about all of these changes, what they mean for the business community. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, May 14th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Stephen Hanna will be joining us. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while I was sleeping, and top national and international stories this morning. In the overnight, while calling on developed countries to promote the equitable distribution of vaccines, a Chinese embassy official accusing the United States of doing far too little and being too slow in helping its neighbors with vaccines. The comment coming one day after U.S. Senator Marco Rubio told the Nassau Guardian that the United States needs to prevent malign actors like China and Russia from leading the vaccination effort in the hemisphere. The embassy spokesperson saying in a statement, quote, "The statements made by certain politicians in the United States have only served to highlight the fact that the United States, as the predominant country in the Western Hemisphere and the world's second largest producer of COVID-19 vaccines, has so far done too little and has been too slow in helping its neighbors. In the eyes of these politicians, geopolitical considerations trump the imperative of saving lives. For them, vaccines are nothing but tools for peddling influence in a zero-sum geopolitical game." Well, the Bahamas has reported more than 11,000 COVID-19 cases since March 2020. More than 1,600 new cases were reported since April 1st alone. 216 deaths from COVID-19 have been confirmed, and another 26 are under investigation. Health officials have attributed the recent surge in cases to international travel. The embassy spokesperson saying that every day, quote, "we are seeing new infections and more men, women, and the elderly struggling for their lives. Rather than pushing for swift action to distribute hoarded vaccines, it's truly unfortunate that some should point fingers at those who try to help with vaccine accessibility in Latin America." Last week, the World Health Organization approved China's Sinopharm vaccine for emergency use. It is the sixth vaccine to receive EUL approval, the others being Pfizer, AstraZeneca, SK Bio, Serum Institute of India, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna. With 505 COVID cases recorded in the country from May 1st through 12th, numbers have remained relatively steady compared to April, which was the worst month so far this year in terms of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. But former Minister of Health Dr. Dwight says that while daily case counts do seem to have continued increasing, the current situation is deeply concerning. He says we need to be doubling down on whatever measures we're using to stop the current wave, and that we are not in a good place. He says he's worried about the increase in ICU hospitalizations. Despite Officials from the Pan American Health Organization warning that proof of vaccination should not be used as a standard for international travel. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis standing by his decision to relax COVID-19 testing requirements for fully vaccinated travelers. He says, quote, what they recommended is that you still do not let your guard down, that you still cannot just take the vaccine for granted because a lot of people are still not vaccinated. What happens is they see everyone becoming complacent, they will follow. He says you must continue to practice safe practices until there's been an all clear given with the pandemic. And police have charged a man who they say beat up, raped, and robbed a 78-year-old woman on Cat Island. 49-year-old Charles Lightburn allegedly committed the offenses during a burglary on May 6th. Lightburn, a farmer from Smith's Bay, faced charges of burglary, armed robbery causing harm, and rape when he made his initial court appearance before Deputy Chief Magistrate Andrew Forbes. Prosecutors say that he broke into the woman's home around 11 p.m. on that date. While armed with a knife, he allegedly robbed her of a phone valued at $150. Lightburn did not have to enter pleas to the charges because he will be tried in the Supreme Court. Prosecutors intend to fast-track matters to the Supreme Court with the presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment on July 30th. Once that bill, the VBI, is served, Lightburn will enter a plea to the charges at his arraignment. Overseas, Palestinian families grabbing their children and belongings and fleeing neighborhoods on the outskirts of Gaza City today as Israel unleashed heavy artillery fire at what is said was a large network of militant tunnels ahead of a possible ground invasion. Israel has massed troops along the border and called up 9,000 reservists as fighting intensified with the Islamic militant group Hamas, which controls the Gaza Strip. Palestinian militants have fired some 1,800 rockets, and the Israeli military has launched more than 600 airstrikes, toppling at least 3 high-rise apartment buildings, and has shelled some areas with tanks stationed near the frontier. As Israel and Hamas plunged closer to all-out war despite international efforts at a ceasefire, communal violence in Israel erupted for a fourth night. Jewish and Arab mobs clashed in the flashpoint town of Lod, even after Israel dispatched additional security forces. The Gaza Health Ministry saying the toll from the fighting has risen to 119 killed, including 31 children and 19 women, with 830 wounded. The Hamas and Islamic Jihad militant groups have confirmed 20 deaths in their ranks, though Israel says the number is much higher. 7 people have been killed in Israel, including a 6-year-old boy and a soldier. And in a major step toward returning to pre-pandemic life, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the U.S. easing mask-wearing guidance for fully vaccinated people, allowing them to stop wearing masks outdoors in crowds and in most indoor settings. President Joe Biden saying during a Rose Garden address, quote, "Today is a great day for America." Hours earlier in the Oval Office, where Biden was meeting with vaccinated Republican lawmakers, he led the group in removing their masks when the guidance was announced. The guidance still calls for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like buses, planes, hospitals, prisons, and homeless shelters, but it will clear the way for reopening workplaces, schools, and other venues, even removing the need for social distancing for those who are fully vaccinated. In sports, the Bahamas Football Association has named a 12-member senior men's national beach soccer team that will represent the Bahamas at the CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championship set for Costa Rica from May 17th through 23rd. The Bahamas will be one of 12 CONCACAF member federations that will be vying for 2 spots to represent the region at the 2021 FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup to be held in Russia. That tournament set for August 19th through 29th of this year. You can read about who will make the team in today's Guardian Sports section. And overseas, a boycott of next year's Beijing Olympics will not serve any geopolitical issues with China and will only serve to place athletes training for the Games under a cloud of uncertainty. That's according to the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, writing to Congress yesterday. CEO Sarah Hirschland sending the two-page letter that put a more official imprint on the long-held U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee stance that Olympic boycotts harm athletes and do little to impact problems in host countries. Her letter specifically addressing those who believe a boycott of the Winter Games next February would serve as an effective diplomatic tool to protest China's alleged abuses. Person also saying that while the USOPC is also troubled by actions in China that undermine the core values of the Olympic movement, an athlete boycott of the Olympic and Paralympic Games is not the solution to geopolitical issues. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a cold front along with its associated prefrontal activity impacting portions of the northwest and central Bahamas today as it continues to move further south through tonight. Boaters and residents should remain alert due to the threat of waterspouts and possible tornado activity. There's a potential for flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas in the northwest and central Bahamas as well. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, your forecast calls for variably cloudy and very warm conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms mainly near the front. A small craft caution will come into effect by this evening in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 knots or less ahead of the front, north to northeast at 10 to 15 knots behind the front. Winds in the extreme northwest Bahamas will increase to 15 to 20 knots by this evening. Seas 3 feet or less ahead of the front, 2 to 4 feet behind the front, but building to 4 to 6 feet in the extreme northwest Bahamas by this evening. For the southeastern islands, look for partly cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions today with isolated showers through tonight. Winds easterly at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet. Temperature-wise, right now in Nassau, it's about 77 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. 72 up in Freeport with showers. Look for highs today getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Our lives better. So why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day.
Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
Me,
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and on BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining us now, we've got Stephen Hanna. Good morning, Stephen Hanna. Yep, he's in the room. Yep, we got him. Okay, yep, there we go. Okay, well, we're going to sort that out. Yeah, that happens a lot. All right, well, you can join the conversation this morning on Twitter at MorningBlend969 or Facebook, facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us at morningblend@nascar.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC. 422-GR96, 422-4796, standard text rate supply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. We've got a lot to talk about this morning throughout the show, a lot of it having to do with COVID and where we stand at this time. We're going to get into that, and that's going to spill over to Morning Blend Business with so many changes happening with what the CDC is saying now and what businesses are saying, the ones that are saying there's going to be a requirement for you to be vaccinated or it's not going to be mandatory, and what will all of this mean for the business community? We're going to get into that this morning. I think we have that sorted out now. Stephen Hanna with us this good morning. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us as always.
Hey, Mona, what's up?
Right here. All right. So let's get into it with what's in the news. And in the news, a lot with COVID to talk about. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But the big headline of the Nassau Guardian, China cries shame on the U.S. for hoarding vaccine. Chinese embassy officials hitting out at the U.S. for failing to provide doses to the Bahamas and other countries. Our Jasper Ward writing about this today. While calling on developed countries to promote, and this is, of course, related to COVID, while calling on the developed countries to promote the equitable distribution of vaccines, a Chinese embassy official yesterday accused the United States of doing far too little and being too slow in helping its neighbors with vaccines. The comment coming one day after U.S. Senator Marco Rubio told the Nassau Guardian that the United States needs to prevent malign actors like China and Russia from leading the vaccination effort in the hemisphere. Now, the embassy spokesperson, I hope I get the name right, Hang Yang Yin, saying, quote, the statements made by politicians in the United States have only served to highlight the fact that the United States, as the predominant country in the Western Hemisphere and the world's second largest producer of COVID-19 vaccines, has so far done too little and has been too slow in helping its neighbors. In the eyes of these politicians, geopolitical considerations trump the imperative of saving lives. For them, vaccines are nothing but tools for peddling influence in a zero-sum geopolitical game. Now, I hope know that the Bahamas has reported more than 11,000 COVID cases since March 2020, and more than 1,600 new cases were reported since April 1st of this year alone. 216 deaths have been confirmed and another 20 under investigation. Health officials are attributing the latest surge in cases to international travel. Now, Yin says, quote, every day we are seeing new infections and more men, women, and the elderly struggling for their lives. Rather than pushing for swift action to distribute hoarded vaccines, it is truly unfortunate that some should point fingers at those who try to help with vaccine accessibility in Latin America. In sharp contrast to America First, China's approach has always been life first. We stand for making vaccines a global public good, i.e. making them accessible and affordable, particularly for developing countries. That's what we said, and that's what we did. Okay. Mic drop there. So last week, the World Health Organization approved China's Sinopharm vaccine for emergency use listing, and it's now the sixth vaccine to receive that approval. Today, Yin noted that China has provided and continues to provide much-needed vaccines to more than 100 countries and international organizations in other ways. He said China is the largest provider of vaccines to developing countries. Excuse me. China has since been in communication with the WHO regarding the implementation of its pledge of an initial batch of 10 million doses to the COVAX mechanism as soon as possible. Yin says there's no time to be lost. Countries who have the means should outperform each other in delivering greater help to countries in need. Slandering or even obstructing the good deeds of others is the last thing the world needs. We call on relevant developed countries to take actions as soon as possible to promote the equitable distribution of vaccines and work with countries like China to jointly build a community of health for all. Without filling the immunization gap in developing countries, the world will never be truly safe from the virus. Okay, some very interesting comments there, and there's a lot more in this story about what Rubio said the day before, if you missed that, which we talked about briefly yesterday. But China's not sitting back and allowing, as it put it, itself to be slandered, and it is responding every time somebody says something like this. And it's been quite a bit over the past few months of this back and forth. What do we get out of it? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because I feel, I don't want to, it's like, what do we get out of it? Because every time this happens, because I don't know if you remember when Fox was on that tirade about that America needs to save the Bahamas because the Bahamas is essentially a protectorate of America, and we're doing too much business with China. I don't know if you remember, they used to do, there was a lot of commentary about that a couple years back, and now it's like this sort of stuff where it's like they're taking swings at each other under the guise of like, oh, we're your real friends. Those people over there, they don't care about you. And it's like, what are we getting out of this?
Well, it's not really about us. We just happen to be the football.
I know it's not
in
about
the
us,
hand
but I'm
at the time.
saying if we're going to be the site of a proxy, whatever, I feel like we should at least get like a location fee or something.
Well, we may get some vaccines.
Right. Like we should get something out of the deal. Like if you're to prove how great and wonderful you are, like why don't you dump some free money on us or something? I don't know.
Well, hopefully it'll be at this time vaccines. So we will see. But
why not? Why not both? Why not $800 with every vaccine? Why not? I'm just saying we're dealing with two people, two very huge superpowers that we really are not in the position to tell them yes or no about anything. But it just feels like they just want to argue with each other. And it's like, we could host a conference. Why don't we do that? We'll be the neutral ground for a conference for China and America to have a large argument, like a peaceful argument. We could book out the entire Bahamas for them. They could come down and,
they wouldn't
have
agree.
the
They wouldn't agree to that location.
oh, sorry, you're right. Atlantis. That's a neutral place. Let's go to Atlantis.
I mean, arguing all the time.
I know. I want us to get the most out of it. Because we're not. It's not like we are in the middle of these world changing decisions, but we are not making the world changing decisions. We're just it feels like we're just the site of it. And so it's like, if we're going to be the site of it, I would like us to benefit from it as much as humanly possible.
Well, we got to play it like someone with two suitors, and you know, so you get
but
as
I don't
much
wanna,
as you can. You have to say, you have
but
to be specific. Say what you want. I want a
I don't
brand
want.
new
That's why
hospital.
I don't just want the vaccine, because
Right.
we'll get the vaccine. Just the vaccine.
So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
how we ended up with two sports centers. Two sports facilities. Because
Do
at
we
one
have
point there were
two?
two Chinas. What?
We have two.
Kendall GL Isaacs Gymnasium was
Uh-huh.
given to us by Taiwan, and then the other giant spaceship that is directly
Well,
in
they're
front
very
of it was
different,
given
though.
us.
They're very different.
I know they're very different, but I'm saying I don't want two giant, because we've never filled the giant one, the space station.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
just saying,
that's
I
our
don't-
fault. That's our fault. But I'm saying that's you got to say what you want. Be specific.
Right.
So
You're
say
right.
you want a hospital. I need two hospitals. I need one in Grand Bahama. I need one here, or more than one, more than two. Just be upfront and get each one to do it, and
Right.
let them
So
keep going. You got to outdo them. Did you see what they did here? And
Oh my goodness!
play
they
them
gave
against
us-
each other.
They get a bridge to Andros.
That's right. We now
They
have
give-
a super highway across New Providence. No more traffic jams. Did you see what
It's
China
like-
did? USA. What are you gonna do?
Aerofoil planes that allow you to go from Nassau to Auckland in 30 minutes.
Well.
You're up.
Right.
Your
Exactly.
turn.
Perhaps
That-
that's what
I'm-
we... Let's
that's
put
what
the
I
list
feel.
together. Let's do the list right now. We could do that by the end of the show.
What would you want from this? Because clearly they've already decided that this is they want to use us to prove something. So
Yeah, this is very exciting. It's a good place to be. A good place to be.
is it?
Yeah, man. Many behemoths have benefited from being in relationships like this. They're doing very well. Let's hear what you say, folks. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-49. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's get your views on this wonderful chess game that's going on around us. Okay. Getting some interesting messages here. This one. The last time I checked, the virus originated in China. They did not control it. They allowed it to escape and shut down the world. Thanks, China, but you've already done enough damage. Well, I mean, that's a... Well, okay. We don't know for sure. A lot of people, as I keep saying, in this country, before we heard about this, were saying they were very ill in the months before China started announcing that there was something going on.
No, it doesn't matter where it started.
Right? It was going to spread in any event because everybody's traveling all over the place all the time.
Right.
So
If you want to blame something, blame globalization.
right.
All right, like the fact that everybody everywhere could go anywhere in the world, and if I would consider that a right, that
Yes.
it's like, how dare you say I can't get on an airplane and be on the other side of the planet in 2 hours? Like, people consider that a right at this point. So it's like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It was gonna happen eventually. A matter of fact, literally, we were told this all those times from the avian flu to the swine flu and all this different stuff, where it's like, there's another big one coming because movement around the world is so rapid. And like we've been warned about this for at least a decade and a half.
Right.
now.
This text here, please let our officials know that we don't want any vaccines from China or Russia. Okay. Oh, boy. Can someone explain what a malign actor is? Oh, boy, they turned this into a race issue. Should I read this? The white people want to be in charge of the world for all time. Why should black people support that? And we want cash, 100 billion. Okay.
Each or all together? Because 100 billion, if each of us ain't getting it, that money could just evaporate. And you'd be like, well, where did it go? And they'll be like, you see that there? That sign behind the bush? You want to make sure that you divide it up.
Wow.
You don't want to just dump $100 million in the consolidated fund.
This one here, Dwight, do you think Bahamians are hesitant about the vaccine? We'll add the Chinese vaccine to the mix. Bahamians will say the world is coming to an end. Yeah? Okay. Well,
I was having a conversation with some friends yesterday, and they was talking about, like, they don't know if the vaccine is the herald of the New World Order. And I was like, you know what the New World Order is? Capitalism. It's like, that's the New World Order. Because it's like, if it's anything that will make you do anything, is money. People will do anything for money, whatever you tell them. And so it's like, y'all worry about this shot. It's like, y'all need to worry about the things, all the different morals that y'all put aside for money, and how quickly the country has changed just because it's like, oh, well, this is financially beneficial for us.
Okay. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Glenn. Good morning to your guest, especially to your guest.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I agree that we should leverage our position with China because we're right in the middle, and it appears as though we don't realize that to the point where we could be, the pivotal decisions that being made could be done. Maybe why not right here? But the $800 in each per vaccine, you think that's possible to request? I mean, it's possible to request, but you think they would respond saying they want something else?
They might double it. So we give you $1,600. Who knows?
Okay. But, I just, it's so ironic when you look at the global picture. Right now you have the Palestinians and the Israelis, they're fighting, they're bombing each other. And when you look at the serial numbers on the bombs, they all seem to be made, some of the material made in America. And America is selling these materials to both to fight because
you checked
money.
them? You were able to, yeah?
Huh?
You were able to check those?
I've seen clippings where the bombs landed in Palestine, and then they show us the suit made in America.
Yeah, okay.
Right, but I'm just saying, look what happens when you try to leverage. But and here again, you have
most of the guns killing people here too. Most of the guns killing people here too.
But you have but look what's happening to the poor people. You have we're being leveraged between two parties who are being supported by major real. This whole thing about the rich and the poor is going to be with us for quite a long time, my friends, because we are going to be leveraged and sandwiched between rich and poor. Is there any way out of that?
I don't know. If you see a way out, let me know.
You got to eat your way out of that sandwich from within. That's
you can't
probably
eat your way out of the sandwich.
You sure?
Thank you, man.
Okay.
No, we are the sandwich, Dwight.
Oh boy.
We are the ones being eaten. That's why I'm saying the best you can do is you say, I want to be a toasted sandwich, or I want to be a regular on rye sandwich. Like
or sprinkle me with truffles or gold or something. Yeah, diamonds. Diamonds on this sandwich.
And inevitably, we are the sandwich. So it's like the only thing you could do is say what type of sandwich you want to be.
Okay. I see. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Stephen. How are you all doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good. And good morning to the nation. Hey, Stephen. Look, as the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, who's who's the most competent and qualified minister in our country today, has given advice to the current minister and current government. The Bahamas has always been friends with all nations, and there is no need for any forced errors, and there is no need for the Bahamas to take silly positions. As a matter of fact, we've made a number of foolish policy decisions as of recent. The most recent one, which actually flies completely in the face of our biggest trading partner and our most powerful friend, being the United States, and that is the policy of home porting. If you notice, Dwight, I've been saying on your show in particular over the last 2 weeks and some, that the policy made no sense, and now you see where WHO and PAHO, who, by the way, I might add, are the persons who we look to as the authority in our region, and in particular in the Bahamas, who we rely on for medical support and medical advice, in particular being PAHO, is stating that it is highly inadvisable for the government to simply rely on persons flying into the country on the basis of being fully vaccinated.
Wait, do you have a problem with home porting in the Bahamas?
No, Dwight, I understand my point, and I'm happy you asked me the question finally. My challenge with what the government is doing, it's a great opportunity that is open for us. However, it's an opportunity that's open to concerns. It's open on the backdrop of the United States CDC putting a no-sail order on all of their cruise ships. And in addition to that, when they lift the no-sail order in July, they place specific and strategic oversight regulations on that industry, none of which the Bahamas is applying. We have decided to come behind and open up our ports for cruise ships that are home flag in their country to sail from our country, and we are putting ourselves in jeopardy with our healthcare plan because all we are requiring is full vaccination. Full vaccination does not stop the spread of COVID-19. It does not stop the contraction of COVID-19, even to those who are fully vaccinated. Worse, on top of that, Dwight, we do not have herd immunity in this country, which means if they come with COVID-19, they can spread it here and create an even bigger problem than we're having in this third wave, which is just getting underway now. But finally, Dwight, when you look at the variations on top of all of that, herd immunity would not protect us from the variations because the variations have jumped over the first strain of COVID-19.
You led us far away from our topic, but so what do you suggest? The country is desperate. We're trying. So what are you suggesting? What do we do? Just what? Just sit back and wait?
When I was on your show in February, I made the suggestion that the most common sense approach that our government can take is for our head of state to have communications with the United States of America, head of their country, their president, and find out exactly what is it that they require of the Bahamas so that they can feel comfortable that we are doing what is necessary, not only to protect our citizens, but to protect their citizens who happen to be 90% of our tourism arrivals in our country, who we rely on heavily as tourism is still a golden goose. That is yet to happen, Dwight. That is the first
Anton, that's not necessary. I mean, the folks...
What do you mean it's not necessary,
the vaccine, you get the vaccine if you feel comfortable as an individual because these people are not... enslaved and have to do what the master tells them. If you feel comfortable with traveling, that's you. That's on you. That's how it's been. That's how it always is. And we are taking advantage of an opportunity. I don't understand
If I can make a final point, Dwight. If I can make a final point, all right? When you look at the amount of COVID-19 infections we have right now, over 11,000, heading strongly towards 12,000. When you look at the deaths, I don't even want to talk about the deaths from COVID-19, but when you look at the fact that the critical care unit is now beginning to fill up, Dwight, it is very concerning.
Yes. So what are you saying? What do we do? Just shut everything down again?
I never suggested that in the start.
Yeah. So what are you saying?
What I strongly suggested, Dwight, is we need a very robust monitoring. We need a very robust testing. We need free testing. We also need a very robust. We needed to increase capacity to manage the amount of persons that will be coming into the healthcare system as a consequence of COVID-19, but also to be able to treat those who fall sick under regular conditions.
Okay. But what about the economy? You brought up.
As it relates to the economy, Dwight, as it relates to the economy, we needed to ensure that opportunities that exist in tourism would be encouraged for Bahamians to be able to take direct advantage of tourism, but instead what the government did is it placed taxes on those persons who were benefiting by tourists coming into the direct homes. Instead, it went in and it negotiated with the international body to make it more willing to take place for those persons who advertise their homes online. Instead, the government is making it more...
led us very far from where we were talking about, Anton. Okay. Everything is a problem. Everything is a problem. Okay. Let's get back to China, the U.S., and football in between the Bahamas. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Are you there? No, chased you off. Okay, yep, everybody retreated after that. I don't know what just happened. Okay, let's read some more messages. Okay, this one says 100 billion sounds good to me. My cement sidewalk.
Right, our sidewalks could be walls.
This one says, please, as long as we don't get a conch snack and a phone card, I'm game. Okay, so
you don't want a conch snack right now.
No, as long as it's fully cooked. Don't
so you don't want a conch snack right now.
Oh, okay. This one says, Anton suggests to let the PLP do it. His entire argument boils down to it isn't right because the PLP isn't doing it. Is that what's happening? I don't know, but it didn't sound. Something sounded a little off. I don't. Is the cruise? Is the home? The home porting is okay. All right. Florida is desperate to get back to sailing, and so they want to be. So I don't understand.
I mean, listen, it's one of those situations where it's like you got to make up your mind, guys. Are we in it or are we not? If we in our intent on milking tourism for all it's worth, then this is going to have to be one of the directions we go down. If we are serious about abandoning tourism, then fine, let's not do it, but you have to have something to replace it with. You can't just go in, just jump in naked and say, oh, we done with it, and we don't have nothing else to go to. So it's like, we know as Bahamians that we have no reason to go downtown except for that's where certain things are, like certain banks and certain government institutions, and so you're forced to go downtown. But there is nothing downtown. Cruise ships bring in money, they bring in passengers, they bring in tourists, but there's nothing downtown for them. So it's like we need to figure out a new way to capture tourists, to get tourists to come to the Bahamas and not be disappointed with our lackluster down. They're doing the thing, they're developing the downtown area. And in the meantime, this home porting thing.
Well, they're developing the port.
Right. I'm just saying, well, they're supposed to be developing something, right? Yeah. And all of these things are supposed to work in conjunction if we are deciding that we are going down the tourism road. Mm-hmm. You cannot have it both ways. You can't say we want tourism, but we're not willing to do anything new. We're not willing to try anything new. We just want, give us money, and we're going to let you walk up and down the dusty Bay Street.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand what that was all about. But let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Stephen. Alan Johnson, leader, UDP, United Democratic Party. Let me just say something.
Okay.
Stephen, one of the things you just said is that tourism, we need to be able to define everything that we do. Tourism is what people do. You would use the expression that hospitality is what people experience. At one time, the Bahamas used to offer sun, sea, and service. We abandoned service, which brings us to the point of diplomacy. One of the major functions of diplomacy, or diplomats as we call them, is the representation, protection of the interests and nationals of the sending state, right? We're supposed to send them there for initiation, facilitation of strategic agreements, treaties, conventions, promotion of information, trade, commerce, technology, friendly relationships, and more. Oftentimes we speak in the Bahamas, we discuss foreign affairs as if though it's our foreign policy. I don't think anyone can tell us any foreign policy that the Bahamas has that we actually advocate for or promote. It seems as if though we're always subject to some other country's foreign policy. We have the multi-million-dollar giant and the street called didn't even realize that we were part of was it stadium policy, which was China's policy of just building megaglax or whatever you call it of around the Caribbean. That's what exists.
And Africa.
That's for decades. We don't even know that we are the tool as opposed to having our own table and having individuals sit at it. And so here it is where we sit as a third or fourth border, depends on if you count Cuba, or somebody may pronounce it. But we have no idea of who we are. And so we always seem to be in some bigger nation environment, begging. And so here it is that we are standing in America and we are begging them for vaccines. China is saying that they'll give us some, and we're being played. Rather than being in a position where you have these two giants supposedly negotiating over you, around you, and through you, and you're sitting there quietly. If you were in a proper position, they would not even be having this type of conversation because it would be an insult to the Bahamas itself to be able to be sitting as a pawn. We often sit down and say, tourism is our major goose, and we must beg and bend to the United States because they is where the people come to. The last thing the United States wants on its border is a failed state. And so it puts us in a position to have basically trade, commerce, technology, exchange of information, intellectual capital, all of these. If we know what we want, we don't really have a national development plan. I know we often talk about the book of ideas, what we call the National Development Plan, but we're talking about something that's implementable where you can take this one particular thing and see a complete strategy attached on how it develops, how it integrates with other pillars of your economics that's in how people execute it, etc. It's not an idea saying, I think we should do technology. I think we should do hospitality. I think we should do these things. Those are not economic strategies. Those are economic ideas. How do you interrelate? How do you execute? How would impact would have? What is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 years impact on the economy?
Okay.
We don't have anything. And so we are now just beg. But we are in a position right now from global commerce, from technology, from geolocation, from certain resources we have to basically push a chair at their table or build one and invite them to stick at ours.
Okay. Alan, we got to go. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take these calls quickly, and then we've got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Hi, good morning.
A godly day to the Universe along with you and Stephen Dwight.
Hi.
Dwight, China is a driven market economy. I think their problem is, while they're picking America, they are not reaching their goal, okay? And because they're not reaching their goal, they want to do more than America is doing so they can reach their goal. But let me show you something. America does a lot for the world, okay? And, of course, a lot for us because right now they're like a big brother to us. If anything was to happen to this country, America would be right here to assist us. So they got to behave themselves. Thank you.
Okay. I don't really know.
Right.
It's
important that you have that inside the letter. That's the cover letter. You know?
To who are we going to send that one to?
Both.
Okay.
You send it to both so they could both be like, wait a minute, hold on, you know?
I don't know what he's saying when he says they're not reaching their goal. They're going to be the number one global economy. They're forecast to be that very soon. And they're number one in almost everything else at the moment. So
what are numbers, Dwight?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's been getting hotter every year, every single year for the past. Every single July is the hottest July on record for the past 4 years. We've had a superstorm almost every single year. And people are like, there's no correlation. It's all in your head. Global warming is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers mean nothing to people. If you do not want to believe in numbers, then numbers do not exist. Don't worry about it. Don't hurt your head, Dwight.
All right. Let me read some messages here. I I support the home porting of the cruise industry 1,000%. It should have happened a long time ago. I wish, however, that there was a Bahamian-owned cruise ship. We will always have the back and forth between the U.S. and China because they both know the Bahamas' location is critical to commerce. Okay? And another one here. It's funny to see how some callers dragged politics into the U.S. and China's trade war. Well, are you surprised? That's how we do it. We could have a debate about our favorite ice cream, and it will become political within 3 minutes here in this place. In fact, we should try it and see how long it takes. But that's how we do it. That's how we do it best. So we're going to do this one? Yeah? Should we do that very quickly?
What?
Let's
Which
take
was
this
your
call.
favorite ice cream?
What? No.
This is like
call. Oh,
Rocky
boy.
Road.
Oh, my. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
You know, in the words of Marcus Garvey, paraphrasing him a bit, right? You know, us depending on another nation to save us, like a one race depending on another race. You remember, you know, Lyndon Pinland. Look at our leaders. Lyndon Pinland brought a constitution to us, right? From our slave, from our colonial masters. You see, and then he tells us if we're not afraid, if we're not willing to fight for our country, we don't deserve to have it. What did he do for us? You know, and then, okay, let's talk to Anton, right? Anton talk about free vaccine. Last I heard, the PLP is taunting that they bought us a NHI. You know, they bought us a insurance that is funded by the Consolidated Fund. Come on now, Consolidated Fund, they can't educate us, they can't house us, they can't do much for us. You see, so Anton needs to get himself and stop taunting the success of his party. And they like to go to, we did this institution and that institution, and none of them have this word that we all know today, efficacy. You see, they're not effective.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, sir.
All right. We're going to talk about more about COVID from what's happening on the ground here. Doctors are concerned about what they are seeing. And very odd statements from some health professionals to conch vendors. Stephen, did you hear that yesterday?
I did.
Well, oh boy, we
question
must
is-
be in a really bad place.
Yeah, when we come back,
Yeah.
I'll pose my question.
It's a lot of questions after that. We're going to get into all of that. Stay tuned. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
You walked past me like I wasn't there, and just pretended like you didn't care. I don't know why I run away. I'll make you cry when I run away.
7:40 the time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic this morning, we've got some Isle Highway seeing some heavy traffic from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonique Williams Darling Highway. And Gladstone Road looking a little bit better for you this morning, heading northbound towards JFK Drive. Elsewhere, we've got some building traffic on Blue Hill Road, and Independence Drive is looking pretty busy. Westbound heading towards that roundabout with Blue Hill Road, and you'll be seeing the traffic heavier on Blue Hill as you get closer to the roundabout there. And also this morning, we're seeing pockets of the building traffic along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections and along Wolf Road, just west of Bernard Road and Soldier Road. So keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at so far. It's expected to get much heavier. In just a few minutes, we'll have that for you in your real-time traffic just after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And at 7:42, time for another check of your weather. We've got a cold front along with its associated prefrontal activity that will continue to impact portions of the northwest and central Bahamas as it continues moving further southward through tonight. Boaters and residents should be alert for the threat of waterspouts or possible tornado activity, and there is a potential for flooding in low-lying or flood-prone areas in the northwest and central Bahamas today. Your forecast for today for the northwest and central Bahamas: variably cloudy, very warm, widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the front. Small craft caution will come into effect by this evening. In the extreme northwest Bahamas, expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy, warm and breezy with isolated showers through tonight. Temperature-wise, look for highs getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that cold front will continue southward, triggering some unsettled weather over portions of the central and southeast Bahamas through the weekend. Breezy to windy conditions will persist throughout the weekend into next week. So, for tomorrow, Saturday, look for cloudy to overcast and breezy conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near that front. Sunday, cloudy to overcast and breezy still with isolated showers and a few isolated thunderstorms possible, again, mainly near the front. More comfortable conditions into the weekend, again, breezier with rain chances highest on Saturday. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. Basketball fans, final weekend of the regular season in the NBA, and you can still sign up for and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free. Call 601-8992 or email trio@cablebahamas.com to sign up. Rev, you and us together.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
The best place to get a new iPhone is at BTC. Make the iPhone 12 mini yours for just $199. That's big savings to go with our sweet postpaid value of unlimited local calls, international minutes, roaming data and minutes, plus all the data you need. Stream, share, and stay connected on the best LTE BTC. Visit a store to sign up today and get the iPhone 12 mini for just $199. Conditions apply.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC banking, online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Sipping wine in a robe. I look too good to be alone. My house clean, my pool warm. Just shake smooth like a newborn. We should be dancing, romancing in the east wing and the west wing of this mansion. What's happening? I ain't playing no games. Every word that I say is coming straight from the heart. So if you're trying to lay in these arms, I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door open. I'ma leave the door
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan with Stephen Hanna. I want to read a few of these messages really quickly before we get into our next topic. This one here, we're talking about ice cream debates. Oh, boy. What did you say, Dwight? We only having strawberry ice cream for the debate?
Wow.
Why are you only supporting the red ice creams? What are you trying to say? Please find some banana cream pie, all for me, baby. Oh, my goodness. Mint ain't bad either. It's time for change, or was that color red? Can't afford to mix these colors up. Yeah.
I don't think that banana cream pie exists as an ice cream. And if it does, it sounds disgusting.
Wow. Okay, what else here? This one
Maybe
says...
like a pineapple sorbet or something?
What? Oh, well, maybe, yes. Or banana. Banana sorbet.
That's
No?
disgusting.
Oh, you have a problem with banana. That's what your issue is, right? Okay. All right.
Banana-flavored ice cream sounds sickening.
Yeah, well, yeah. This text here, somebody meant me. Yeah, you heard this in the overnight about a horrific incident on Cat Island. This person says, "Where can I read that? I don't get the newspapers." And I check the website. Check that in just a bit. Check it again. The NasauGuardian.com. It'll be up shortly, I'm sure. So keep checking, keep refreshing too. Okay, so we'll get back into COVID in a bit, but Steve and I mentioned it before the break about a very disturbing, I don't know, it was a meeting that was covered by the media extensively. And
You mean everybody covered it?
It seems so.
It's good to know that everybody comes to some of these things.
Okay. I don't know if it's everybody, but the major players were there. So take a listen to this, what medical professionals were telling to vendors at Potter's Key, and the advice they were giving them in light of the conch poisonings that we've been seeing over the past few months. This report from our Jasmine Brown.
We will be coming around to do inspections of your facilities. And if anyone is found to not be engaging in best practices, we will shut you down.
The warning came from Bahamas Agricultural Health Safety and Authority Director for Food Safety and Quality, Dr. Patricia Johnson, who was part of a food handling and preparation seminar that was put on in response to reports of conch poisoning in recent weeks. At least 21 cases of conch poisoning have been confirmed at Princess Margaret Hospital. It is unclear if cases were confirmed at other healthcare centers. During the seminar, Johnson called for vendors to wash conch, sanitize, and clear their workspaces, wear aprons and hairnets, and properly store raw and cooked food. She also dished out advice about personal hygiene.
Make sure that when you come to work, you take a bath. When you come to work, I know you say, oh yeah, why say that? You know, of course you're going to take a bath. Some people don't. That's the plain in and out about it. Some people don't. And make sure the clothes that you wear are clean and fresh. Don't wear the clothes from yesterday. Don't do it. You know, because we all have a body odor that we have to get rid of every day. We got to take a bath. All right?
Vendors who attended the conch cleaning demo say the outbreak of conch poisoning has hurt business.
Tremendous decrease of sales. You know, some places might say they could sell 1 or 2 conch salads. Well, I must say that in the last few days, I haven't sold any.
The sales are down. I mean, the conch poisoning, it's affect policy dog. It always affect policy dog the worst.
William Roll, who operates Big Sunny Stall, said his business has not recovered of the pandemic.
To be honest with you, from COVID start, that really is what caused the major problem. The lockdowns is what caused the business to decrease, because when it comes to conch poisoning on Potter's Key Dock, we hardly get a large impact on, let's say, business to stop. But because the people can't move around like how they want to, that's probably why we are getting less business.
A lot of vendors we spoke to believe the conch contamination is due to improper storage. Conch poisoning is typically caused by contamination that usually results from poor hygienic practices during its handling and preparation. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. And, so if it's the way you prepare the conch is the main issue.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what that other stuff was mixed up in there, and that you have to say it is.
Right. It's like it feels a little personal at this point. It feels like somebody personally offended her. That, or I must ask the question: what part of your body are you using to prepare the conch? Because it's like, I know that you need to, maybe if you say, okay, wash your forearm, make sure your arms are clean, your whole hand is clean, that's one thing.
Oh my goodness.
But it's like, you're like, y'all need to go home in bed because the odor is the conch odor is being overpowered by your body odor. And it's like, what is happening? And then it just feels like a lot. But then this is what I would give Jasmine kudos for doing. Her news story. Some others that I heard.
That's right. I was telling somebody else as well. Her story was far less crass than what I heard on ZNS last night. Like,
but not only that.
Oh my God.
ZNS ran, and they have this habit of doing this. They will run a story where they interview somebody who has an opinion as an authority on it, and it will often contradict what the official statement of somebody who is a doctor and went to school for it says. They did it before with invasion of the conch, where persons are saying, here the study is showing that we're getting less and less conch each year. We've done the numbers, we've done the research. It's harder to find conch. The conch are getting smaller. The next day they go to Arawaki, and the Arawaki vendor tells them, it ain't hot. Conch ain't going, ain't disappearing. It's just harder to find them. You just got to look further, but they ain't going nowhere. And it's like, that's proof that something's wrong with the conch population. And then last night, the conch poisoning situation has to do with improper handling of the conch. One of the vendors got a whole entire story talking about people is be serving people half dead conch, and if the conch half dead, and it's like, no, that's not what. And that might be the reason why that woman has to tell people bathe.
Let me tell you something.
Be the reason why.
After I heard that,
listening.
After I heard that part, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to stop eating conch because this is crazy. All this detail.
Are you the conch?
Like, oh wow, this is scary. What are you all doing to these poor conchs? They could being tortured before they serve them to us. This is but
the thing is, like, at the end of the day, right? We're not questioning why people are getting sick. We know why people are getting sick. We know that because you had the whole entire Dr. Nikita Forbes. Sorry, there's no T. Okay, you had on last week. We went over it. The issue is the bacteria proliferates during warmer weather. You could wash it. There's still going to be a risk, but you need to wash it in fresh water. You can't wash it in salt water. You need to clean down your surfaces constantly, but there's still going to be a risk, right, if it's not cooked. So perhaps person should pivot towards, if you need to eat conch, eat cooked conch, right? That is the official idea. They went out there to say to the guys who are underneath the stalls, if you are going to try to sell raw conch, please follow these guidelines. And somehow at the end of the day, one of the news stories from the national news carrier is some vendors are serving half-dead conch. And that is not what the Ministry of Health was saying.
Oh, boy.
Anybody who is getting a conch salad, ain't nobody getting no conch salad where they didn't see the person pull the conch out of the shell. So it's like, I'd love to know, like, these excuses are not. Listen to what the people are telling you to save your industry, and please follow what the people are saying to save your industry.
But back to the hygiene lesson they had yesterday for these grown adults. Perhaps medical professionals and others who are having joint meetings and press conferences at the same time. I would suggest perhaps certain things you say. Maybe the cameras can stop for this part here while I talk.
No,
something. I don't know if that needed.
She was saying that with such passion that I promise you, that has either she's witnessed something or she's experienced something, and it was imperative that they understand this, right? And it's like I got nothing.
I think that may, for some people, turn them off entirely from the area. I'm like, okay,
I'm
I
not-
think
I-
I just,
you know what?
if
The whole area needs, the whole entire industry needs to be revamped. There are vendors who are doing the right thing and doing well, and there are vendors who just need a little bit of help, and there are people who should not be vendors. And I think that's where we're at. Because even something in terms of what type of footwear to wear is something that you get in food handling courses. So it makes me question whether or not these people who are serving a meal had proper food handling courses before they got to that point.
Well, okay.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
some of the things that she's saying is what you learn in food and nutrition. You don't go inside the kitchen certain ways, and so all of it.
The perception of certain is a lot more relaxed than at other places.
Yeah, but no, not if it's going inside your body.
Oh,
It don't
okay.
matter. It don't matter where it is. You want to make sure that every place that you eat from, the people is wash their hands. If they blow their nose, they ain't blowing their nose on their shirt. You know what I'm saying?
I often wonder about the people, and I'm gonna get some people upset and angry.
The chicken shacks?
No, the people who are selling conch and other seafood well into the interior of the island, outside in the hot sun on the side of the road. I wonder about these people and what goes through the minds of the folks who do buy this stuff. There's no water anywhere near this. How long has this been here? How long is this? When was this fresh? When was the last time?
Those are the
Major
persons
concerns.
who I could almost swear to you always have fresh running water to wash the conch with before they serve it to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. My producer's nodding. Let's take this call really quickly. We don't have much time before we go to the news. Good morning, caller. Are you there?
Right.
Hi.
Good
morning.
It's amazing. I agree with a lot of things that was said this morning. But the main problem is how come only on the Port-of-Ski dock in Arawati there's always an outbreak of conch poisoning. Nowhere else in the Bahamas. Nowhere
Because
else.
they're not treating, because they're not washing the conch properly. They're not treating it properly.
It ain't only washing the conch. Them cruise ships, who knows where they dump it in the water? And that sewer system, you ever pass the bridge and smell that sewer system? All them hotels they're dumping, you don't know if it's a sewage leak. That is what the real crux of the problem is. All they need to do is move them conch vendors from there and relocate them somewhere away from those kind of things. Because when tide ebbs and flows, you don't know what's flowing in that water.
Wow.
From them black waters, from them cruise ships and all in that sewer system.
Okay, we got to go to the news. We'll be back with more on this on the other side. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:26. It's time for your look at weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. A lot going on. We've got a cold front along with its associated prefrontal activity that's going to impact portions of the northwest and central Bahamas as it continues to move further southward through tonight. Boaters and residents should be alert for the threat of waterspouts or tornadoes, and there is a potential for flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas in the northwest and central Bahamas. Today for the northwest Bahamas and central islands, look for variably cloudy and very warm conditions with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms mainly near the front. A small craft caution will come into effect by this evening in the extreme northwest Bahamas. For the southeastern islands, partly cloudy, warm and breezy with isolated showers through tonight. Temperature-wise, look for highs getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows, 82 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that cold front will continue to move southward triggering some unsettled weather over portions of the central and southeast Bahamas through the weekend. Breezy to windy conditions will persist through the weekend into next week. So for Saturday, tomorrow, look for cloudy to overcast and breezy conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms mainly near the front. Pretty much the same for Sunday, cloudy to overcast and breezy with isolated showers and a few isolated thunderstorms near the front. That's your morning blend weather check. We're just getting some into the newsroom. Severe weather warning, severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Grand Bahama and Abaco. That's going on until 9:30 this morning. And so thunderstorms will be strong at severe times, capable of producing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, hail, and possible waterspout or tornado activity. Localized flooding possible during these storms. Boaters in the warning areas should seek safe harbor and stay indoors and away from windows when conditions worsen. That's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Grand Bahama and Abaco, the extreme northwest Bahamas, until 9:30. That's your morning blend weather check. Again, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And time for another check of the traffic for today, brought to you by RBC Royal Banking. Your real-time traffic, Smile Butler Highway. As usual, a heavy hot spot this morning with heavy traffic from Fire Trail Road all the way up to Tawnique Williams-Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes this morning. We're seeing some very heavy traffic today. Gladstone Road also looking busy northbound to JFK Drive this morning. Blue Hill Road, as usual, from Soldier Road up to Independence Drive. The traffic is heavy in the northbound lanes. Carmichael Road eastbound to Blue Hill Road, also seeing heavy traffic at this hour. And Blue Hill is just going to be busy for you from St. Vincent all the way up to Independence Drive. Independence Drive also backed up. Westbound lanes heading towards that roundabout with Blue Hill Road. East Street South seeing some heavy traffic in the northbound lanes between Soldier and East-West Highway in the roundabout. And the intersection of Robinson and East Street also seeing heavy traffic at this hour. Elsewhere, we've got Fox Hill Road northbound towards Prince Charles Drive, and Bernard Road, mainly westbound, seeing some heavy traffic at this hour. And pockets along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road at the major intersections. Those are your hottest spots this morning, your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
And we are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Stephen Hanna. In a few minutes, we're going to get back to the COVID discussion and what doctors are saying, how they're concerned about what they're seeing. But we continue talking about what we were before the break about conch and the conch vendors getting scolded yesterday. Basically, I don't know how else to put it. But some people are agreeing with how that was addressed by the medical professionals. This person saying that didn't go far enough. Those nasty people just throw the conch shells and slop right on the shoreline. No proper cleaning of the area, especially Montague. Everyone knows bacteria multiplies in the heat. And another one, though, this says, the more I hear this story with the conch vendors, the more I'm like, what is the doctor talking about? Why is she talking to these adults like little children? She is scolding them. Stephen, I know when I heard it yesterday, I'm thinking, do you remember these videos that ZNS used to show as fillers? Always bizarre stuff. A lot of things from Africa, and often be some doctor, maybe a European doctor, going into the tribe to tell them very simple things that we all know about, but I guess teaching them the ways of the West. That's how it seemed to me. And that was the only thing that came to mind watching that yesterday. I'm like, what is this? But hey, let's see what you have to say about it, folks. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-425-9259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Morning again. I was trying to say my point before you went to the news. But,
Yes.
Take 30 seconds.
Okay.
To really reiterate what I was saying, it is very noticeable that the only conch poisoning comes from between Arawaki and Porterski Dock, so that we can isolate that in that general vicinity. So there are several things that could contribute towards that. Like I said, the cruise ship dumping, the sewer system right there, the hotels could be leaking, a number of things. My suggestion for that is relocation away from that. Now, Stephen said something that makes a lot of sense. Conch, you don't have that problem. So we should make it mandatory that all conch vendors use boiling water to dip their utensils in for 20 seconds and the conch before they prepare it, in addition to all the sanitation stuff that they do. That's my contribution for this morning.
Okay, I mean, I hear you. I don't know how you can say definitively that it's only those areas, and we're getting other people texting and saying that's not true. This has been a problem all around.
I don't agree with the first part of it, but like we call it scolding, but what's it called? Blanching? Perhaps blanching the conch.
Like scalding. But
right.
Sorry,
okay. Scalding, not scolding.
Because you're all caught up with what the doctor did.
Yeah,
right.
You talk roughly to the conch.
Right. Scold the conch. Maybe you shout at it. You're dirty. You're filthy. And then maybe
and it will shed the bacteria.
Right.
Off
Yes.
But I mean, once again, I make the mistake that other persons do and like pretend as though my idea is a fact. It would be interesting to see if that is effective means of reducing the risk of conch poisoning. Because if it is, then that would be something that you could implement if it is effective. That's the whole sentence.
I'm just wondering, is he suggesting that for the conch salad as well?
Yeah, no, but blanching a conch isn't going to change the texture of the conch that significantly. 20 seconds isn't. So
I don't know if
basically, I
that's
think what
going to be
he's trying to do
enough,
is he's trying to kill all the bacteria on the surface before you cut the conch open. So it's not going to change the texture of the conch, but it will make the surface of the conch unbearable for the bacteria. Is in theory what I think that he's trying to posit. The same way where remember there's like wash your hands for 20 seconds or rub alcohol in your hands for corona is like it's. I think he's using the same principle except heat instead of chemicals in this situation.
Okay. Let's take this call and then we'll get to your text messages. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi.
How you guys doing? Morning, Stephen.
Morning.
Dwight, have you guys ever took a day and just spent some time at that Porterski Dock?
I mean, have we visited it before? Or
I mean, just go there like to have lunch or get us a conch salad.
It's been a while.
I can't sit there. I can't even eat from them, man. But you see, bathrooms, man, up front. And if you spend some time sitting around there and you having a few beers or whatever, you have to walk about 500, 600, 700 meters just to use the bathroom. So what do you think happens on a daily basis when you're consuming alcohol and food there? People go right in the back there and they do what they have to do on those. That place is not supposed to be
no place to wash their hands.
no restaurant.
Yeah.
That's the bigger concern. And we, if we want to have an honest conversation, them places do not have proper bathrooms. Same thing with our I mean, a few of those places have indoor bathrooms and whatever. And where do those particular things run off to? If they have bathrooms and then the conch and stuff in the back there, we have to get serious about sanitization and all of these stuff in these restaurants, man. What we allowing to happen because we feel that people need employment or need jobs. We allow a lot of things to slip, right? And that's what's happening. You ever watch conch salad being made that they don't have on gloves sometimes? You know, they're either cutting up fish and stuff on the same board. So you could understand how bacteria and stuff happens. And if people really take an opportunity to pay attention to how their stuff being made, they wouldn't eat there.
Well, okay. All right. Thank you very much. A lot of people say the same thing. I know it's been, again,
I don't know.
It's been
I
a while
don't
for me.
have an issue with people touching my food with their hands if they've washed their hands ahead of time, if they clean the board. And like the last time I got conch salad on Arawaki or whatever, the person cleaned the board between each preparation. They wash off everything and all that. And so it's like I don't have an issue with necessarily you touching it with your hands if I see you wash your hands before and after each time or whatever. And then like some of them they won't touch the money. Like they'll have somebody else take the money from you or whatever.
Right.
So like I don't necessarily have a problem with that. But what that caller just said brings up something that I feel like a lot of Bahamians are going to probably fight against. But what we need inside this country is real accountability in terms of, because we want accountability on the big stuff, like on our government officials, right? Which is fine. But we need accountability for these restaurants. It shouldn't be that only time you know that a restaurant should not be a place that you eat at is when a disgruntled employee posts a picture of all the roaches in the back in the kitchen. There should be constant inspections from health inspectors. There should be constant. Did you update your health certificate? Did you take the refresher course on ways to prevent bacteria spread or prevent foodborne illnesses? There should be constant of these things where it's like you have a grade that you proudly present inside your window because you are a grade restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like people have access to that stuff. But in the Bahamas, you'd be surprised. Many of these places that you overpaying, you paying $30 a plate and $40 and $50 and $60 a plate, they get a B and C grade because they just keeping the roaches in the kitchen. Once the roach don't go in the dining room, you already know.
They're the sous chefs, actually. Here is a text. It's cooked and fresh conch because when I was in the hospital, there were people coming in who said they had cracked conch too. Okay. Oh, boy.
No, but that's because, like I said, like if you want crack conch of a certain texture, you ain't gonna cook it all the way. Like it don't cook all the way through.
Yeah.
It ain't like conch of red blood, like how chicken is. And you know, Bahamians, if we see blood inside, we say, oh, the chicken ain't cooked all the way through. The chicken pink or the hamburger pink so they don't eat it. But conch, it white. It don't change no color.
This one says, sounds like those health professionals are letting power go to their heads. Those were grown adults. Be respectful. Well,
like I said, that's a personal situation where somebody offended her so greatly with the scent. That wasn't...
Maybe not necessarily, but
the
people...
way she said that was somebody out there that day, and she's like, this person need to go home and bathe immediately.
Wow. This one says, the caller is spot on with those sanitation issues and concerns, okay? Another text, I watched a vendor stop tossing conch salad to relieve himself in the back of the stall, then come back to finish tossing the salad. I left. Oh, my God. Okay. All right. And another one here. The caller is correct, and the rowdy conch vendor's mother is deflecting her. What up? Okay. Let's take this call, and then we're going to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. I just wanted to say the vendors at Arawaki and Portishead Dock, a lot of them, their stalls, especially, Montague and Portishead Dock. You have a lot of vagrants out there. And at night, those vagrants, some of them go and they lay down on the benches. They lay down on top of the stalls where they cut conch, make fish, and do all these other things. And that's why I just never could eat anything from those places. There has to be some sort of order, some sort of regulation in that aspect. You can't have these people hanging around the stores. You know, we don't know exactly how well they are sanitized after that happened. And so that's something that environmental health really, really has to crack down on. Many times you go there in the night, you find the vagrants sleeping on the table.
My goodness. Wow. That's disturbing.
But that's once again, that's several issues because like it's not going to be enough to just say, well, then sanitize the table every morning or to keep the vagrants away from there. The quote unquote vagrants is a whole different issue that needs to be addressed. Why do we have these persons who don't have a home or who are wandering the streets at night with nowhere to live? Address this. Is it a mental health issue? Is it a poverty issue? What is it?
Yes, absolutely. This text here, from what I saw even before the pandemic, I stopped eating from the dog. Okay. Well, oh boy. These problems aren't new. They are certainly not new. They've been going on for a long time.
And the fact that they don't have running water there is a problem. The fact that they don't have electricity there is a problem because that's a 1 foot in, 1 foot out lukewarm situation between the government and the vendors. They clearly don't want the vendors to be there because they're not giving them the support for it to be a thriving, healthy environment.
Oh boy. Okay, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend on a Friday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Yippee-yi-oh. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We love become so.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean and pay no fees when you use your Visa debit card locally. Use your Visa debit card to purchase gas, groceries, hardware supplies, medication, and all of your other everyday essentials. Don't have a CIBC First Caribbean Visa debit card? Visit our website, CIBCFCIB.com, to sign up today. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Basketball is back, baby, and so is NBA League Pass, only with Rev Trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free, along with incredible prizes, including a brand new 50-inch smart TV, NBA gear, and more. With tons of prizes and gear, signing up for Trio is the best on- and off-court move this year. Just call 601-8992 or visit www.rev.bs/promotions/trio. Sign up for Rev Trio today and enjoy NBA League Pass absolutely free.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers We're good for you.
Gran, it was good to see you, but we've got to get home.
Yep, we've got to let the dog out.
Speaking of dogs, you won't believe who I saw the other day. Who?
Honey.
Remember Anton, Jeanette's oldest boy? The one with the dogs.
With local claims managers, we pay your motor claims fast. We're like a goodbye at your granny's that doesn't take 30 minutes.
We really got to get going.
So soon?
CG Atlantic Agents. Insurance, health, pensions, life. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited, trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean and pay your credit card online. No need to wait in lines. Pay your CIBC First Caribbean via online banking or the mobile app. Don't have online banking? Don't wait. Visit our website, CIBCFCIB.com, to sign up for online banking today. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
They live in the sea. They feed all of we.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna on this Friday morning. We were talking about conch and conch vendors and a seminar, a meeting that health professionals had with conch vendors at Potter's Key, I believe it was yesterday, and some interesting things were said by many people, and we're getting a reaction to all of that. Some very interesting text messages are coming in to us this morning. Somebody says, people got a number of calls, people saying they don't like to go to the dock, the horrible things they've seen at the docks, the various docks. And this person says, the coronavirus is afraid to visit the dock. I'm like, oh boy.
Isn't that a good thing?
This one says, the health inspectors do not do their jobs effectively. There must be regular inspections of these food-generated environments for safety reasons. And that person says they are texting in from Grand Bahama. Okay, thank you. This one, if vagrants are using open stalls after hours, you know rats are there as well. Huh? What? I have never understood how people eat from these places. Oh, boy. Another one, I have witnessed incidents where vendors give vagrants menial tasks around their business, which requires the handling of seafood. These people do not have food handler certificates.
Which is...
Well, that's not unique to the docks. I can tell you that now. If I told you the story of what I saw a few months ago at a very popular restaurant here, what a vagrant was doing with...
Oh, I mean, well, that's always happening.
But he was working. He seemed to be working, Stephen.
Yeah, I can't blame the vagrants. Because the thing is, I'm not going to blame the vagrants alone. Because the reason why these things persist is because of either the lack of laws and rules or policies, or the lack of enforcement of laws and rules and policies.
If anyone told him to do the work he was doing, he just might, clearly mental issues were in play here. But he seemed to be a good guy and decided he wanted to keep the area clean. Unfortunately, he was using, I don't know what that material was at first, but it was a rag basically that he dipped in the puddle to wipe the mat in front of the restaurant and to clean the door handles and stuff. And like, oh, he used the puddle. Nice. And then later, as I went inside, when I was looking outside while I was waiting, I saw that he decided to use that same rag to wash himself in the puddle. So we've got a lot of problems around here that we aren't addressing, right? Real problems.
Right.
And it's very disturbing. Oh, boy. So it's no wonder. It's a miracle that we all wake up and not in the hospital every day here in the Bahamas. It's a miracle. Be thankful if you are not. Okay. We're going to get to COVID in a bit, especially into Morning Blend business with so many changes over the past few days now. What the government here has been saying, what the CDC in the U.S. is saying, what Joe Biden is saying, and this change that's coming. What does that mean? Are businesses ready here? When people, more businesses are saying you've got to take the vaccine in order to work here. What does that mean? We're going to get deeper into that and discuss that. Before we get to that, though, I am just flipping through the papers, and this caught my eye, and we've got some real challenges here, folks, and this is why we're not really progressing in many ways. So this is a story in the business section of the Tribune. No way on God's earth is the livable wage $2,625. The National Tripartite Council's vice chair yesterday blasted, quote, "There's no way on God's green earth that Nassau's monthly living wage is $2,625, as unions hailed the finding as vindicating their stance. Peter Gowdy, who heads the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation's Labor Division, told Tribune Business that the authors of the University of the Bahamas study, which found New Providence's living wage was almost triple the existing minimum wage, quote, have to be out of their minds and absolutely dreaming. He said,
confused.
Yeah, we're all confused. Obviously, Mr. Gowdy, let me read this other sentence, warning that the Bahamas cannot afford such an increase, especially, I see he's not read the report, especially amid the COVID-19 pandemic, as a whole bunch of businesses would be forced to close. Mr. Gowdy also questioned why such astounding findings were never discussed with the private sector or other stakeholders before their publication. Well, I don't know if it's been published like that, but they've discussed it. People need to understand what this is. This is not a suggestion on what people should be making. This is what you would need to have a comfortable life with the way things are going in the Bahamas today.
Cost?
Right. Things cost too much. That's the problem. That's not what anyone's suggesting we pay everybody or the minimum wage. That's not what that is. That's what you need to have a comfortable life at the moment. And it's higher for Freeport and in the Family Islands. So if you have a problem with this, you've got to do something about the prices, the cost of services, and the cost of goods in this country.
Either end. Whatever end that you feel is the easiest one for you inside your greedy, money-grubbing way to do.
Okay.
Either way. Let's have a socialist rant.
No, we don't. We're running out of time. But I'm just saying, clearly there's some people who are confused and did not read and don't understand how that works.
It doesn't matter because those people, I bet those people don't make under that number per month.
Absolutely not.
I could bet dimes to dollars that they don't make that. Right? I bet they make way more than that. And they are there saying, oh, no, this will cost the entire society to collapse. So you know what? Why don't you give up half of your salary to help bring up somebody else's salary, and then it'll all be at net zero.
You know what? Instead of criticizing the research, which is highlighting what everybody knows, you would need a lot of money to live comfortably in the Bahamas. Do something to influence the policymakers to find ways to reduce the cost of living in the country. Either reducing the duties and the VAT on the duties and the VAT on the VAT that we're paying when we are bringing things inside the country. All of these things are influencing what's going on here. Things are double the price they are in the U.S.
The problem is, though, right? The problem isn't necessarily the idea of VAT or even the percentage of the VAT. The problem is that things cost too much at the beginning. And nobody wants to bring down the price of anything, and there's no real price control of anything, and we don't produce anything. Right? And so by the time it gets to us, everybody has an excuse as to why I have to charge you this amount for this.
Plus, there's their markup. Their markup is on it.
Right. They're like, we have to make 500% profit. Literally, the only thing in the Bahamas that's cheaper in the Bahamas than anywhere else in the world is corned beef. Corned beef is $11 in New York for a can of corned beef. And for some reason, it's $2.50 inside New Providence, even though it comes from Brazil or Portugal or Spain or wherever on the other side of the planet it comes from. Some of these stuff I've made in the Philippines on it, right, in terms of tuna, and it costs 99 cents. It costs $1 million, right? And it's like there has to be some level along the line. Either you're saying, if you say you have to charge this price for the thing, then fine. Then we have to increase wages.
Yeah.
If you say you cannot increase wages, then the cost of living has to greatly decrease. That means land cannot cost what it costs.
Absolutely.
Right? And if that means we got to tank the whole entire real estate industry, then so be it.
Well,
but
many
you cannot
industries.
you can't have it both ways.
Right.
You can't be saying we can't reduce the price of gas and keep land costing $1 million.
And I'm glad that Mr. Gowdy's outraged because maybe now he's getting the point how ridiculous things have been in this country.
What is his job? Maybe we could get rid of his job.
Yeah. But this is a problem,
Sure,
and it
that's
doesn't
driving up the
seem
price of something.
It doesn't seem like they have the powers that be have gotten it at all, despite the struggling that everybody's doing and the prices that continue to increase.
They
here.
are not struggling, Dwight.
Well, not
they
them.
are not struggling. People who are making close to that number or around that number or underneath that number, we understand, and we have all said to ourselves, well, you know what? I guess that I will never own a home. Well, I guess I will never have children. Well, I guess I will never have air conditioning.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I will catch the bus for the rest of my life. We've all decided and made sacrifices because of the world that they've created. And then they turn around and look us in the face and say, you guys are asking too much.
Yeah.
You want more than $3 an hour to make sandwiches? Well, then how about you stop eating sandwiches?
We've got a lot of calls coming. Let's take these. But, for many years we've been on these lists as the top 10 of the most expensive places in the world to live. And it seems like people wear it as a badge of honor, the ones who could change that. Oh, see, we're in the top 10. No, this is a horrible thing, especially when you look around the Bahamas, especially in your
third
province,
highest GDP.
and see how horrible things are looking, especially in the inner part of the island, right? There's a lot of, for that to be the case, this is a massive disaster,
It's not even the inner part of the island. It is arbitrary where we decide which part of the island is rich.
Oh, dear.
Because in all honesty, Blair is literally on the lip of Fox Hill and Kemp Road. There's no place inside the Bahamas where there isn't a ghetto literally adjacent to where people either have some means or are privileged.
Yeah, very true. Let's take these calls quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. Are you there? You were just there. Okay, let's take the other one. Let's see what's happening here. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
How you doing?
Doing well.
3 words. Stop the corruption. One voice. That's what the nation needs to say. All right? On every level. Okay? To everyone, including ourselves.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's take this one and see what you have to say about this matter. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Warren Glenn.
Hi.
Just an observation. We've got a doctor that is in charge of our country, and then you got actually there's a few inside the cabinet. At least once was. You would think that the first thing they would do would be health oriented. Because for years one would see the bottom of the bridge wasn't too healthy. Montague wasn't too healthy, and to make sure Fish Fry stays healthy. I would just like to have your input on that because he was once the Minister of Health. Okay? Thanks for letting me share.
Okay. I'm talking about that all morning. That something has to be done. As Stephen said, we need the regulators to step up. We don't even know if they are doing inspections regularly of the restaurants. And
of the regular restaurants.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the fast food franchises that answer to international conglomerations are probably the only ones because corporate from Chicago and New York is coming down. So those people probably washing down stuff and wiping down stuff. But all these other restaurants, you think that they don't have to answer to nobody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not get off.
Yes,
the whole idea that is like literally the people who own everything or are friends of the people who own everything are like, this will cost the entire thing to collapse. All of the wealth of any nation is coming from the workers of the nation.
All right, let's read some of these really quickly as we're running out of time for this part of the show. We need a progressive tax. Then I want Mr. Gowdy to talk then. Okay. Have you heard of any other conch poisoning on other islands? I think it's simply a water contamination problem. Okay. Stop charging people to license their vehicle when they haven't driven it because of an accident. That's very random. But, hey, it adds to the cost. Yes, the cost issue
it's a tax. Here. It's not. I think what happened is people mistake a lot of these things because they're named license or they're named insurance. National insurance is a tax. Your license is a tax.
Yep.
None of those things are... They just gave them names because they didn't want you to feel like you were being taxed for every single thing, but it's a tax.
This person here says corned beef is more expensive in the U.S. because they don't want their citizens eating it. I don't know if that's exactly true, but okay.
It's kind of true because we have it as a breadbasket item, so it's protected, and that's why the price won't ever go up past a certain amount. They're allowed to make a profit off of it, but they're not allowed to charge 10. You could never, a can of corned beef will never cost $10 in the bomb. No, Libby's corned beef. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'll
You've
find
tried
the
to
picture.
find-
The last time I was in New York,
who eats
I took
that
a picture
there,
of it.
though? They eat the shave from the deli type. They prefer that.
But I'm saying the one that comes in the can that we have,
Yeah.
the same brand,
Okay.
$11 and something cents.
This one says, with minimum wage, you have to work at least an hour to be able to buy a half gallon of milk here, and another hour and 15 minutes to afford the cereal. Oh boy.
That's why you got to be vegan.
Oh my. Anyway, clearly we have to have another show on livable wage because the folks don't get it and don't understand it. It's not how it works. It's just letting you know that based on the way things are in this country, that's what it would take to not be living on the streets, essentially. But hey, all right, we're going to be back with more in Morning Blend Business. We're going to be talking about how businesses are responding to the changes that are coming rapidly with COVID protocols and what visitors are saying, what everybody's saying. We want to hear from you on that too. What impact will this have on you and your work? That's coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 Soul Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, May 14th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, Stephen Hanna with me on this Friday morning. And today we are going to be getting some analysis on what's happening with businesses as a result of the pandemic and how businesses are responding to the rapid changes that we are seeing as it relates to vaccines and whether or not to wear masks, what the government is saying, what the CDC is saying, how things are changing almost every day, and what is the way forward. We're going to be getting into all of that. Our senior business reporter here at the Nassau Guardian, Chester Robards, co-host of Morning Blend, is going to be joining us this morning with that as well. So that's coming up. But first, it's time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. In your morning business, the DRA requesting $5.8 million in the upcoming 2021-2022 budget to continue Hurricane Dorian rebuilding efforts on Abaco and Grand Bahama. That's according to Chairman John Michael Clark. Clark saying yesterday that as of April 21st, 3,735 homeowners have been approved for the DRA's small home repair program. Of that amount, 1,270 homes have been successfully completed. 813 on Grand Bahama, 457 on Abaco, at a cost of approximately $7.72 million. $4.72 million on Grand Bahama and about $3 million on Abaco. You can read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. A survey conducted by the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce has found that 51.1% of businesses questioned if they can remain in business for the next 3 years. Next 3 to 6 months expect to struggle to meet obligations and the staffing levels at this time. On the other hand, 48.6% of the respondents said they expect to sustain employees and operations or remain ahead of business that they had in 2020. The Chamber of Commerce They are conducting its 2020 COVID business survey, the fourth of its kind since Hurricane Dorian and the start of the pandemic. This was in April, canvassing 72 businesses which responded to assess the state and scope of current operations, employment engagement, critical needs, and outlooks in the business community on the island. The majority of businesses that responded were in the retail sector, about 22.2%, while 12.5% were in the tourism sector. Of the businesses that responded, approximately 47% said they are operating as normal in terms of hours and services, while 39% said they are falling short of sustaining business, and 15% said they are not operating at all at this time. And the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issuing new guidance that frees all fully vaccinated people from wearing masks indoors and outdoors depending they are in. The announcement moving Royal Caribbean International to free its cruise passengers of their masks while docked at the cruise line's private island Coco Key when the cruise line begins sailing out of Nassau on June 12th. Royal Caribbean requires all adult passengers cruising on board the Adventure of the Seas next month to be fully vaccinated. It also requires that all minors have a negative COVID-19 test to board the ship. While the Bahamas still has a national mask mandate, last month Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said fully vaccinated people will have the luxury of gathering together without social distancing. Overseas, U.S. restaurants and stores are rapidly raising pay in an urgent effort to attract more applicants and keep up with a flood of customers as the pandemic eases. McDonald's, Sheetz, and Chipotle are just some of the latest companies to follow Amazon, Walmart, and Costco in boosting wages, in some cases to $15 an hour or higher. The pay gains are a boon to these employees. Restaurants, bars, hotels, and stores remain the lowest paying industries, and many of their workers ran the risk of contracting COVID-19 on the job over the past year, while white-collar employees were able to work from home. But still, the pay increases could contribute to higher inflation if companies raise prices to cover the additional labor costs. Some businesses could absorb the cost or invest over time in automation to offset higher wages. States and cities easing business restrictions as COVID-19 deaths and cases plummet. And in places like Florida, Nevada, and Texas, restaurant traffic is above or near pre-pandemic levels. Many companies say they are struggling to find workers. Closer to home, in your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday, your market movers, Commonwealth Bank moving 32,960 shares, closing at 90, down 3 cents. Consolidated Water up 3 cents, closing at 232. Emira Incorporated down 2 cents, closing at 11.24. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 1,947.75, down 3.91. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. You are listening to Morning Blend Business, brought to you in part by Cash and Go. Pay your BAF insurance premium in the new Cash and Go mobile wallet. Download it today in the Google Play or App Store and avoid the lines. Cash and Go.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in. It's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Paying your bills just got easier with Cash and Go.
Did you know that you can pay all your utility bills in the Cash and Go mobile wallet? You can pay your BPL, BTC, cable, water and sewage, and Grand Bahama Power or utility. Paying your bills just got easier with Cash and Go.
You can do it at Cash and Go. Pay all your bills at Cash and Go. Send your money from Cash and Go. Top up your minutes. Cash and Go. Pay insurance at Cash and Go. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at Cash and Go.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, Morning Blend Business. Dwight Strachan with Stephen Hanna. And this morning we've got Guardian Senior Business Reporter Chester Robards with us. You may know Chester from being a co-host here on Morning Blend. Chester, great to have you with us this morning. Hello.
Good to be here. Good morning.
All right, so this morning we are talking about COVID and where things stand at this point. So many changes with what the CDC had to say yesterday. Not very different from what the government of the Bahamas said a few weeks back, but the CDC saying that easing the mask-wearing guidance for fully vaccinated people, allowing them to stop wearing masks outdoors, in crowds, and in most indoor settings. The guidance still calls for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like buses, planes, hospitals, prisons, and homeless shelters, but it will likely clear the way for reopening workplaces, schools, and other need for social distancing for those who are fully vaccinated. We're going to talk to you about, Chester, about your article about Royal Caribbean, but as you mentioned in that article that a few weeks ago the Prime Minister mentioned this as well, that fully vaccinated people likely won't need to social distance amongst themselves, even indoors. And so we're all heading in this direction, and things are happening rapidly. But some are saying, hold up, wait a minute, not so fast, especially PAHO, which issued this warning this week. We want you to listen to this report from our Jasmine Brown on that.
Pan American Health Organization officials addressed the issue after our news team sought their views on tourism-dependent countries like the Bahamas loosening travel restrictions for vaccinated visitors.
To act with utmost caution. At present, with the evolution of the spread of the virus across the Americas and in Europe, the unknowns related to the impact of COVID-19 vaccines on the transmission of the virus, and the challenges related to accessing the vaccine and to roll out vaccination campaign in most countries of the regions, we need to act with caution.
On May 1st, the Bahamas eased restrictions for fully vaccinated visitors who can now forego COVID-19 RT-PCR tests. Vaccinated passengers do not have to take the 5-day antigen test either. Vaccinated Bahamians are now able to travel to the Family Islands without the added expense of an RT-PCR test. Dr. Al-Dajeri pointed out that the WHO position paper that was published 2.5 months ago states that proof of vaccination should not be regarded as a guarantee of free of infection, nor be required as a condition to undertake international travel. Speaking via a translator, Dr. Ciro Ugarte says PAHO and the WHO simply cannot recommend that vaccinations become a passport for travel.
The recommendations both from PAHO and PAHO are that vaccination be not a requirement for international travel or transit or resumption of economic activities. Let me repeat that protection measures that have proved to be effective need to be maintained at all levels.
In addition to uncertainty about the ability of fully vaccinated people to transmit COVID-19, PAHO officials also cited limited vaccine availability, the circulation of more contagious COVID variants, and a global shortage of crucial supplies like oxygen.
There is still much that we don't know about this virus, including its threshold for herd immunity. Would it be 70, 80, 90%? We don't know. And this is especially as several different vaccines are in use. We will likely have a better picture once more real-life data from countries that achieve high immunization coverage when that data becomes available.
To date, the Bahamas has received 87,200 doses of the vaccine. The remaining 32,800 doses are expected from COVAX in the coming weeks. Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Okay. So, all of this happening, we want to talk about what we're hearing from the business community and what appears to be the way forward. We have between the vaccines and policies now, with people saying that you will need to be fully vaccinated to establishments, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot more about masks soon with what's been happening this week. But Chester, you're here. You wrote an article today about what Royal Caribbean is saying. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, Royal Caribbean came out with its position on Coco Key shortly after the CDC announced that fully vaccinated people would be able to, gather in groups together and also go out outdoors and some indoor places without their masks on. And of course, we know that Royal Caribbean starting up in this side of the world from Nassau next month, June 12th. And they actually are going to spend 2 days at Coco Key, longer than they usually would on a normal year, I guess, or a normal itinerary. But, because they're just starting their sailing again, because they're just getting their itineraries going again, because there are some places that I guess they still, some ports, they're going to spend 2 days at Coco Key. And so that, because all of the adults on the ship are going to be vaccinated, that gives them the opportunity that, hey, just like the Prime Minister said, everybody who's vaccinated can hang out together without masks. Mm-hmm. And so that was probably a pretty exciting development for the people who are going to be on that first cruise and any subsequent cruise after that. We don't know, they haven't said anything about their staff, a lot of whom are Bahamians, of course, on the island, whether or not they'll be wearing masks while the guests are on shore. But that might come out later. And then they haven't changed the position on the boat, I think. They still have to wear masks walking up and down the boat and that kind of thing.
Stephen?
So I was going to ask if there's a significant number of Bahamians working at Coco Key.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of ignorance.
No, you're right. There's a lot of people from Berry Islands who work on Coco Key.
Right.
And people who've moved to Berry Islands to work.
So my question is, do we know, you're saying June 15th?
12th.
June 12th. Okay, so do the people in the Berry Islands have access to the COVID vaccine? Did they get the shots in time?
No, that's a good question, because Royal Caribbean was supposed to ensure that, and that's what they wanted for their staff. I don't know if they were, again, like some places are doing, forcing them to get the vaccine. I haven't heard that that was their policy, but it was required. It was a requirement or a need for them, because I know for the cruise lines in general to do their test sailings, the CDC was requiring that most of the staff was vaccinated. Right. It didn't say all; it said a certain percentage.
But they are vaccinating most of their crew on the vessel, so I guess we can assume they're going to push for that.
Yeah, but Dwight, you're not going to put like a $1 billion plan together and let it fall apart because you were afraid to ask 20 people, 100 people to get vaccinated.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure that they will do that, especially going through all that work.
I feel at this point they had to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's too late to will.
But it for Royal Caribbean, it's just about getting rid of the mask, right? So if there are Bahamians on the island who aren't vaccinated, the suggestion by CDC and whomever is that you have to wear your mask, and you can't, kind of populate yourself with those people who are vaccinated, or you shouldn't.
Yep. And in your article, you mentioned what the Prime Minister said, just to remind people what he said. He has submitted such a policy. If all within an enclosed environment are vaccinated, then they don't need to wear a mask, to use a mask, and other social distancing protocols, as we have stated before. So we are aggressively pushing for vaccinations, and individuals would want to be vaccinated knowing that they can go into enclosed environments, be it restaurants or whatever, and feel quite safe. But that's after the second vaccination, after you've completed both and 2 weeks post the second vaccination.
Right.
So we're a couple of weeks away from that, as the second doses began this week, and so we'll be there shortly. But
So we shouldn't see anybody chilling and hanging out yet, because most people in the Bahamas haven't had a second dose.
Exactly. So we're hearing from tourists who are coming here about this, but we're going to talk about what other businesses are saying. We want to hear from you folks as well, what you, if you are business people, are saying about this, and if you are consumers or workers, and what your employers are telling you. We're going to get to that in a bit. But I do want to play this piece with some tourists and their reaction to traveling to the Bahamas. Some interesting things said in this as well. This is a piece from our Jillian Gray.
Over 2,000 visitors arrived at Lyndon Pinling International Airport on Thursday. Many of them, like Tampa healthcare worker Lauren and Orlando resident Jody, say the relaxed restrictions for vaccinated persons made coming to the Bahamas a no-brainer.
I think that you guys are trying to stay safe, and I mean, I'm used to wearing a mask all day long at work, so wearing a mask here and, you know, filling out all the information. I'm vaccinated, so I mean, it was pretty easy for me.
It seems safe. I mean, they definitely are taking the chances to either make sure people are vaccinated or they have negative tests to come over here, and they check multiple times on the airlines. And
Lauren and Jody are fully vaccinated, and so is Florida resident John. He and his wife are here for 4 nights. While he says he did not mind following COVID-19 protocols, getting the travel visa was an arduous task.
I think it was very hard, difficult, and made it very tough for us to process it. My wife waited on the phone almost 6 hours, and then she was the last. There was like 300 people in front of her, and then she was disconnected right when it was her time. So we actually had to call the hotel to help us get our passport. It was actually kind of crazy. So, yeah, last minute too, because it was pending to last minute. So, but yeah, it was very, very tough.
Miami resident Tyler Wine, who will be in Nassau for 3 nights, is not vaccinated and had to take a COVID-19 test. He says he didn't mind, though, as he feels it's time for people to resume travel.
It's good. I think the less restrictions, the better. I think it's time to open everything up and get back to business everywhere. You know, everyone's small businesses have been suffering in the U.S. here. Travel, the travel industry's really suffered. So I think it's with the survival rate, being 99.7%, I think it's time to open it up and get everyone's economies back on the right track.
And when we asked what they were most looking forward to, the answer was the same.
The beach.
the beach. Yeah, relaxing.
And it's my first trip in a year and a half, so I'm excited to come here and enjoy it.
This uptick in travel is good news for tourism stakeholders. These taxicab drivers say they're happy to be moving again.
And I'm very optimistic, and I think from here on out, we should see really good business, even though things are not the way it was, and it's going to take a while to get there. However, I can see that we're going to have a busy summer. Looking forward for it.
Though there was a negative from countries about the Bahamas, tourists are feeling very comfortable coming to this country because of with the social distancing, with the bubble-like system at the hotels, and people are feeling very positive to the fact that even us as drivers have to be tested, and we have to present our test just as much as they do.
Taxicab drivers say they hope the steady stream of tourists continues throughout the summer months, as they are hoping to at least recoup some of the funds they lost throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jillian Gray.
Okay, so a lot of optimism there from tourists. How are we feeling here? Chester, are you hearing anything from local businesses, what they are seeing for the next few months? What is the mood? What's the temperature like?
Well, I mean, you see the article from Grand Bahama. People are still kind of, on the edge of their businesses failing because in some parts of the Bahamas, things just aren't moving yet, right? The good thing for Grand Bahama is, one of the good things for Grand Bahama is actually Royal Caribbean restarting cruising, because the ship will be porting there. We'll be calling on Grand Bahama to allow their guests to enjoy Grand Bahama, as well as they're going to be provisioning their ship from Grand Bahama. So, the people in Grand Bahama who supply, anything that you can think of that goes on a cruise ship will be able to have some business there. So, those are all positives. You see, if you've driven downtown at any point in the last year, it's a ghost town. And so the return of the thousands of cruise passengers who will be on Royal Caribbean or Crystal Cruises is going to mean an uptick in business for some of the stores down there that have been closed.
Okay, so you talk about downtown being a ghost town, right? During this time when everything has basically been shut down and we had all this ample opportunity to do stuff, okay, I know a big part of it is going to be like was usually like hair braiders in the straw market and all this different stuff to try to eke out some money from the pockets of persons who are cruise ship passengers. Are those things going to be back in full effect? Are those persons going to have to be vaccinated for them to operate at those vending places? What are there protocols in place for a person to be a hair braider on the beach? Like, I haven't heard anything about those stuff. I'm not sure that's something there isn't anything, but I would like to know what it is, as well as what are we doing since we're going to be the home port and things are going to be slightly different now, right? What are we doing to not just offer the same old, same old? Are there going to be any new things in place in time for this June situation?
Well, Dwight's been asking that question for the last 2 weeks, I think. That's a good question.
They probably don't like Dwight's voice. I mean, hopefully, if I ask.
Well, we certainly didn't get the right answers. But anyway, but yes, I mean, the vendors, especially the hairbreaders, is a great question, Stephen. What is the policy there? Will they have to be vaccinated? Do we know?
Well, we know that.
Have you heard anything from the
minister? I haven't heard anything, and those are the questions that need to be asked now, right? And the Tourism Development Corporation, they're kind of taking the lead on I guess kind of figuring those kinds of things out for downtown. And Dwight had them on the show the other day. They're talking about I would say that the home porting thing kind of snuck up on us, but they probably had these conversations going for a long time, which is not, that doesn't speak well of our planning. But we heard about it only about March, right? So
I hear you, but us hearing about it isn't, because the thing is, they had to I feel like this stuff, the people would have gone around and say, hey, anybody interested in this? And they'd say, yeah, we're interested in this. From that point, there should have been preparation. Okay, this is what needs to happen in order for this to be as successful as possible.
No, absolutely, I absolutely agree. But tourism has had standards and protocols for these people in place since, for heaven's sake, since we opened up in July of last year, right? They've had these things in place already, and it's just for them to use them.
Right. Also, there are protocols for hair braiders.
For hair braiders, straw vendors, all of those, those have been in place since last year.
What you would think that you would know as a vendor that you likely will have to be vaccinated, and that might give you an advantage over someone who's not vaccinated.
Well, we don't see the government forcing.
No, they keep saying they aren't going to make it. Right.
They haven't taken that position. They haven't taken that stance, right?
Right. Yeah.
So who's going to tell them you need to be vaccinated?
Exactly. Boy.
How do you continue to stifle their business by suggesting that they need to be vaccinated?
Exactly. Now
they had protocols in place before we had the vaccines when we opened up in July that would allow them to work.
Now, it was interesting this week that Super Value owner Rupert Roberts says that employers should not force employees to get vaccinated. He told the NASA Guardian that he is not forcing his employees to take the COVID-19 vaccine because it would be wrong to do so. He said, quote, I'm encouraging them to take it, but it's not mandatory. When asked why he is not forcing staff to take it, Roberts replied, quote, well, I don't think you can legally. I think when it's explained properly to them, I think they're going to take it, but there's been so much misinformation that makes them hesitant. We think to get back to normal, to get the economy going again, everyone should take it. That's our opinion, and we don't think that anybody could be forced to take it. All right, so it's been a hot button issue. We saw last week it was Fusion saying they're looking for people, but they would need them all to be fully vaccinated, and that's coming after many others were saying the same thing. So we want to talk about that this morning. What are you all thinking about it?
Who eating conch off a pot of ski dock, but wouldn't take the vaccine.
Oh my!
It's like everything. We all take calculated risk.
I took the vaccine and I took conch from Pottersby.
Yeah, because you don't fear God and man. That's what happened. But the rest of these people,
and you had an interesting reaction to both, Chester.
To both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so there you go. There you go. Okay. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. What do you make of all this? So many things changing so quickly. People, did you hear that in AP a few minutes ago? Is it almost over? Are they getting ahead of themselves? But you'll have to be fully vaccinated to be closer to it. Where do you stand at this point? What needs to happen? Let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning again, Dwight. How you doing?
Good morning.
You can hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and good morning again, Stephen, and good morning to you, Chester. Great conversation so far. I appreciate the analysis being brought by Chester in his piece of study, wrote on regarding the process unfolding. I see several concerns that I'll mention very quickly, right, that I noted while you all were talking. We have a problem with clearly vaccination in hand, as Powell pointed out in that news update that you provided, Dwight, in your show, right? I'm concerned, though, when you look at the percentage of our population who has currently received the first dose of vaccination, when you look at the projected percentage of our population that is expected or anticipated to be fully vaccinated, which will still be minimal at best. And also when you look at what we know the government has been able to procure by payment, but not procure in hand today, as it relates to the full amount of doses that we are paid for, even at optimal success for vaccination, we will still only have between 12 to 13% of the Bahamian population fully vaccinated, and that's at complete optimal success, right? And so finally, right, my last point, and so with that in mind, right, we are running way behind the 8 ball in terms of fighting this fight for vaccination success in our country and achieving herd immunity via vaccination and other means, right? And so if the benchmark set by the CDC, USA, is for fully vaccinated Americans who happen to make up 90% plus, as the Minister of Tourism says, of the visitors coming to our country today, tourist visitors to our shores today. If the CDC benchmark is for fully vaccinated Americans to remain amongst other fully vaccinated persons, that in effect remains or says that they will be still creating that bubble impact and effect. And that is going to spell disaster ultimately for the Bahamian economy, except we can achieve that level of fully vaccinated Bahamians in the workforce and in the service sectors related to tourism, which we are a far cry from. And so the Bahamas government needs to do a lot more and be a lot more innovative to help us to achieve that that benchmark of herd immunity through the vaccination process, if we are going to stand a chance of succeeding and getting that tourism dollar back on track, in addition to all of the other protocols that are to be continuously employed relating to COVID-19. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. Well, we got to have more people willing to take the vaccine, right? That will go a long way, and a lot of people who are showing no interest at all. And so that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a big challenge. Okay. We got a lot of messages coming. We're going to get to those in a bit. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Coronavirus. You've got this world in a mess. Like a lethal weapon in the dark. leaving death, destruction in your path. COVID-19, COVID-19.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you'll also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to a Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Boy, why you look so mashed up like clothes at the washer?
No, boy, just a hard day, boy.
Hard day? What happened? The breakfast lady ran out of tuna and gritty.
We need to start joking about everything, you know. This serious, boy. This real serious, boy.
Boy, what's serious? Tell me.
All right, well, today, boss gave us, boy, one big contract. And nobody else get a chance and nobody say nothing.
Boy, you know that ain't right. You know government contracts ain't supposed to go that way.
Yeah, but nobody's saying nothing. Boss man just tell people to sign the meters, boy, downtown and collect this envelope.
You need to tell somebody. You need to become a whistleblower.
You know I's a real man, but I never blow no whistle. I be drunk all my life and junk, you know.
No way. A whistleblower is someone who tells people what they see when they see something wrong happening at work.
But I ain't no whistleblower, and I ain't no snitch. I still white there, you know.
But ain't nobody can know it's you. All you gotta do is call Crime Stoppers, or you could text them from inside the Crack Crime Bahamas app. They don't ask about you. And your call goes straight through to Miami, so nobody know you is. And if you text, your message get mixed up like Kong salad.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Got your final look at weather for this severe weather warning has been extended. The thunderstorm warning in effect for Abaco. Abaco is in effect until 11:30 this morning. The Department of Meteorology is saying that thunderstorms associated with a frontal system across northwest Bahamas is moving towards Abaco, and some of the thunderstorms will be strong to severe at times, capable of producing strong gusty winds, dangerous lightning, heavy downpours, hail, and possible waterspout or tornado activity. Localized flooding is also possible during these storms. Boaters in the warning area should seek safe harbor, and residents should stay indoors and away from windows when conditions worsen. All right, so this is all part of, as we said, prefrontal activity associated with the cold front that's moving into the northwest Bahamas. Is going to continue to move through to the central Bahamas and make its way southward through tonight. Boaters and residents should be alert for flood and tornado activity, and there is a potential for flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during rainfall events in the northwest and central Bahamas. Today, look for variably cloudy and very warm conditions in the northwest and central Bahamas, with widely scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the front. Small craft caution will come into effect by this evening. For the southeast Bahamas, partly cloudy, warm and breezy with isolated showers through tonight. High temperatures getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that cold front will continue southward, triggering unsettled weather over portions of the central and southeast Bahamas through the weekend. Breezy to windy conditions will persist through the weekend into next week. So for tomorrow, Saturday, look for cloudy to overcast and breezy conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms mainly near the front. Pretty much the same for Sunday. That's your morning blend weather check.
Then Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Traveling around the world, infecting men, women, boy, and girl, causing folks talking about COVID-19. Coronavirus, a pest. You've got this world in a mess, like a lethal weapon in the dark, leaving death, destruction in your path. COVID-19, COVID-19.
Never played the whole song. I think we should do that one day. The whole song, maybe when it's almost over.
Please don't.
Huh? Welcome back to Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Stephen Hanna. We are talking with Chester Robarts. He's got his oh boy, what did I almost say? He's got his NASA Guardian senior business reporter hat on.
Wow.
I don't know what that was. Oh dear. Okay, and we are talking about what the business community's reaction to what's being announced, what's been announced by the Bahamian government, which said it before the Americans said it, the CDC. And I thought it was very interesting yesterday. The CDC made the announcement, and then U.S. President Joe Biden came out a couple hours later, and very celebratory, and the media, everybody very, very excited about this. But when Prime Minister Minnis made this announcement a few weeks back, the skepticism and the negativity and the they're bribing us. They bribing people now. This is incentives to, whoa. And it's very unusual. I was trying to figure out what the difference was, but I came, medical officials here had said it first. And recommended it.
The CDC didn't call it an incentive.
Oh, that too. I mean,
the CDC didn't say, you can hang out if you get the vaccine.
Right, yeah. Right. They said it was a recommendation. And so perhaps that played a big role, I'm thinking. And then if the Prime Minister later said, okay, based on what the medical professionals are saying, this is what we will do.
Guys.
Maybe that's it.
You know that's not. You know there's no winning once you reach a certain place inside politics. It's true. And Dwight, case in point, this morning, at the same time, two different people text you to complain, one, that you don't let Anton talk enough, and two, you let Anton talk too much. You got that text today.
Every day. Right? Every day.
No, but I'm saying, literally at the same time.
Yes.
One person, both of them very long, explaining why they are angry with Dwight's decision. So it's like, imagine if Dwight was actually making real life decisions.
Apparently I am, with the amount of effort that people send. Well, we appreciate and love all of our listeners and texters. Thank you so much. All right.
Speak for yourself. Okay.
Oh, dear. Let's get the calls and let's hear what you're saying. Maybe you are a business person. We'd love to hear from you. What are you making of all these different things that we're hearing now? What position does that put you in? Do you agree with requiring your employees to be fully vaccinated? How's that going to work?
Did you read the full thing that Rupert Roberts said? Because I feel like, I know I'm not losing my mind, but I feel like in one of the news breaks, Taylor Ferguson was like, he said, what if one of the people got sick later on? Would the business be held accountable?
Right.
And so it's like, let's not pretend as though, like, at the end of the day, it all doesn't boil down to money and how culpable the business may feel that they have to be.
My goodness.
All right? It's like if the business, because the business.
I don't think Steven shops at SuperValue.
It don't matter. It's like, it's only so many places I can shop. I got to shop at some place that has practices. You can put whatever adjective you want to put in front of that. All right? So it's like, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's not beyond businesses to tell people you need to cut your hair. We don't care if you use a rasta. You need to wear certain clothes. We don't care how you feel about it or whatever. So it's like, it is not beyond them to say.
Your suggestion is his statement had nothing to do with altruism at all.
He is a businessman first. We don't talk to him because he is a saint. We don't talk to him because he is a member of any particular church. We don't talk to him because of his charitable works. I'm sure he does it because he has a giant check inside Golden Gates that says he does. But the whole point is, we talk to him because he is a man with a lot of money and he employs a lot of people.
All right, let's not focus on one. Let's just talk in general terms. And
I'm saying with all of them. Yeah. I think that at the end of the day, the business owners, if it is the most profitable thing for them, for people to get, The shot, they will do that.
Okay.
If they think that there's a risk for them, then they're going to waver away from it.
All right, let's hear what our callers are saying. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Calm down. Let's calm down. Let's take this. With a 98% outside of the vaccine catch and recovery rate, we was basically just waiting on herd immunity, involuntary herd immunity. Okay, fine. We got the vaccine now. We're almost at 100% catch plus recovery plus vaccine, which leaves a very, very, very negligible percentage that will probably catch with extreme comorbidities and will be affected by this thing. If I get on a flight, if I choose for religious reasons not to take the vaccine or whatever reason, and I get on a flight with 99 persons, and I'm the 100th person on the flight who are fully vaccinated, the only person on that plane at risk is me. That is my choice. So if the tourists come and they are all vaccinated and the straw vendor or two don't want to get vaccinated, only them they put in themselves, so that's their choice.
Yeah,
we shouldn't be all about running all about, because the tourists ain't really present, we don't really present no harm to them. They fully vaccinated.
No, but you forget the virus could still be on you, and like, people could transfer it to other persons who may have other issues like with their immune system.
Yeah,
so,
but the persons we are trying to protect, they will protect themselves by being fully vaccinated. If
but they might come in contact with somebody else.
Then I'm standing on that limb all by myself by my choice. We should open up. We should do what that tourist say. We need to open up.
All right, so when you get very sick, should we just say go in your room or your cave and let whatever happen to you? Or should we also expend all of our resources in the hospital to make you better, knowing that you knew the risk? Right, so then don't come to the hospital then and just die in your room.
That's what I'm saying is that is life across the board. Because I crash in an automobile and break my leg, me and you mustn't drive? No,
that's not
why
comparable.
We're supposed to put all of our efforts into our hospital, into our nurses and our doctors, for people that get sick or have a broken leg. You understand? We don't need to be panicking at this point. We didn't got the numbers.
You don't live in a bubble, though.
And let's come to some sensible conclusion.
Okay, I mean, he brings up the car accident, but if you were intentionally driving with your head out the window and no seatbelt and you crashed, then right, we will still look at you as being insane.
You could be speeding and we could still look at you as insane.
Right.
You could be drunk. Any
so
number of things.
You're doing
but the whole. It's not apples for apples. The next thing is like you do not live in a bubble. If the only persons that you were coming in contact with are vaccinated people across the board, then fine. But the problem is that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right? And so
but let's be honest. We've reached a point in the pandemic, probably a very important point, where there's a delicate balancing act that we have to deal with for the rest of however long. We don't even know. We could withstand 1 year closing and opening without tourists. But now, it's a need for countries, not just the Bahamas, to get the economies up and running again. Royal Caribbean's lost $7 billion, so imagine small businesses. Mm-hmm. So there's a balancing act that needs to happen, and we got to be sensible about it.
No, I agree with you, and what I don't want persons to do is for us to get slack and think that just because all the tourists are vaccinated, that therefore we don't have to worry about anything. Just walk around barefaced.
Yeah.
Don't take no precautions.
Very
don't
dangerous.
Take any vaccine. There are
very dangerous
various strains out there.
Right.
That we don't know necessarily how they're going to react to the virus. You have all it takes is one British tourist on a boat to cough in the wrong direction, and we could have a serious problem on our hands. So it's like, if there is something that you can do about it, you have to ask yourself the question, why wouldn't I do this thing to prevent the end of the Bahamas as we know it?
Let's get to some of these text messages. Oh, you want to say something really quick?
No, I was just saying, so the messaging needs to change. People need to know that they're still at risk if they're not vaccinated, and that they can't join the vaccinated people in a party if they're not vaccinated.
Right.
Without masks.
This text here, it'll be hard to monitor every hair braider with respect to the testing. I believe if one wants to interact with the tourists, they should take the vaccine or test every Friday or once per week, the PCR test. However, I will eat grass before I take any vaccine before at least the next 3 years. Wow. And who's going to pay for that PCR test? The hair braider? Yeah?
Right.
Okay.
So now they got to braid extra hair to pay for the test.
Braid all the hair. This one says, all tourists aren't vaccinated. Just if they are, they don't need a test. What now? If they aren't, they still have to test.
Right. All tourists are not going to be
at the
vaccinated.
moment, yes, but
all the adults coming for the cruise have to be vaccinated.
Right. So, but watch and see. That will likely change very soon. Some says, so Dwight, you will tell smokers who get cancer and sexually active people who get HIV, etc., to go in your room and die. You should have known better. What an evil thing to say. Okay. I'm not going to respond. Anyway, that's a very sad. Unfortunately, we have to end the show on that note. But oh my goodness gracious, that's what you heard. That's okay. That's what you take away from this whole conversation. Then that's what you take away from the whole conversation. Hey, Chester Robards, thank you very much for being here this morning. I really appreciate that. I'll see you next week. And Stephen Hanna, always a pleasure.
Good to be on with Stephen.
And we will keep you updated, of course, on what's happening here, all the changes that are going and coming. And we do hope that this is the light at the end of the tunnel. But we all have a role to play here, and you just can't leave it up to other people to be responsible in this, right? So keep that in mind. Have a great weekend, everybody. We're back with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business next week, Monday morning, right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan wishing you well. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.